Every person listening to this has a superpower. The problem is, most people don't know they're using it. And even worse, many people are using it against themselves. Some people have used their superpower to build wealth, others have used it to build debt. Some have used it to build strong bodies, others have used it to build obesity. Some have used it to build confidence, others have used it to build insecurity. Some have built it to create freedom, others have used it to create a prison for themselves. It's the same power, different direction. But what's fascinating is that this one force may explain one of the oldest observations in human history. Why do the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer? Most people think it's a money conversation. It's not, it's a habit conversation because wealth compounds, but so does debt. Discipline compounds, but so does laziness. Good decisions compound, but bad decisions do too. Every day, your habits are collecting interest. The question is, are they paying you or are they charging you? Habit is one of the few forces in life that doesn't care whether it's helping you or hurting you. It simply compounds whatever you repeatedly do. And the scary part, many people don't realize they're in debt until the bill arrives. Financial debt, health debt, relationship debt, spiritual debt, all accumulated one small decision at a time. But here's the good news. The same power that can enslave you can also set you free. That same force that can take you to the lowest point in your life can elevate you to the highest. And tonight we're talking about how to make habit work for you instead of against you. Welcome everybody back to Just the Guys podcast. We are classic men changing the world. Tonight we have Gimpy and Soldiers of Finance with us. It's Dr. Richard Daystrom. What's up, guys? How you guys doing this evening?
What's going on? How y'all doing?
Good,
Man,
good.
I'm chilling.
Good.
So, hey, everybody in the chat, y'all know what to do. Just hit that like button. And I want you guys to comment success in the chat. Because again, we are on week 4 of the Law of Success series. Last week, we had a really good conversation about overcoming fear. If you missed that one, definitely go back and check it out. But tonight, again, we're having a conversation about habit. So just kind of think about this last week's conversation. What role do you think habit plays in your fears, or maybe even overcoming them? Soldiers, man, I'll let you go ahead and start. What role does habit play in your fear, in overcoming your fears?
Habit creates a system that if you adhere to it, if you can adhere to it, and it's a productive system toward a goal, then it definitely can put you on the other side of what you view as current fears. Now, you may get some new ones as you progress. I'm sure Elon Musk, money isn't a fear, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sure he has apprehension every time somebody goes up and hit one of his spacecraft, you know. So what Big said, more money, more problems. So it's kind of like that. But as far as habits, I'll take Elon again. And any high profile person, they don't have to be wealthy. It could just be an athlete, some scientist somewhere, to keep repeating a process, a habit, and it becomes something that, just a part of life, a way of life at some point. Like with working out, I'm sure that if you miss a day of your exercise routine, you don't feel right.
Yeah. You're right, man. But your fear last week was the fear of what?
Well, I had several. I had the fear of, surrounding finances. Okay.
Yeah.
Also the fear of loss of love.
Yep.
Okay. I do not fear death.
Yep.
Because it's inevitable. But I do have a concern about illness because it's so far out of your control. Death is inevitable, right? It's going to happen to all of us. But illness is like, man, you could eat right, exercise every day, and
So what's up, Alex? And shout out to everybody in the chat. Welcome to the show tonight. So Gimpy, man, like what role does habit play in either overcoming your fear or the fear itself?
It's the tool. I mean, in like 2019, when I got into the gym, habit is what got me over the fear of failure, right? Like failing at that, getting myself into the gym, staying consistent. And it's funny, I use the same app on my phone since then. And I was looking at all the years, I was scrolling back and looking through all the workouts, and you can see some years were shit, total workouts, some years were great, right? Like some years I did way better than others. But at the end of the day, it was the habit that kept me coming back, right? Like I built a gym in my basement. I mean, folks can't see it, but some of you have the cameras turned. I got all the equipment and whatever. And, I make sure I do it. And when you say, if you miss a day, it's like, yeah, I had strained my back a couple of weeks back, 10 days, like I was itching. It was driving me crazy not to have the daily workout. So the habit is the tool I use to overcome my fears.
Absolutely. All right. So I want to, move on because I want to play this clip of Fat Joe. Now, anybody, y'all know who Fat Joe is, right? The rapper.
Of course. Yep.
Again, habit is and I believe everybody has this superpower, right? Everybody they can leverage this power, but it can either make you or break you. And Fat Joe, he's a very successful rapper. Before he was successful, he made some very hit songs, Lean Back and some others. But here's him talking about having $0 in his bank account three times in his life, right? Here we go.
It's something dollars. I'm eating dinner every night. It's $30,000 a dinner, champagne, lobsters, steaks, everything night for like 15 years straight. And you think, I'm a million. You don't even check the account until you go in there one day and they tell you have no money. My asshole was this tight, bro. I walked out of there. I was like, I thought we was rich. Back at it. We got to go back at it. We got to get it again. It happened to me about 3 times in my life where I went to the bank account and it said 0. I mean, for millions. Right after that, I went back. I think I made What's Love. I made another 5 million. I looked at it in the bank. We kept popping champagne, doing all the crazy shit, private planes. This is that. One day I walked into another bank in Throsneck, told this tight, yo, you ain't got no money. Got to go make Lean Back. Got to go, like, it's fucking nuts.
Yeah. So what? So that was Fat Joe, explaining his habits. Why do you think, guys? Why do you think most people underestimate, how much their lives are actually shaped by habits? I mean, this dude had millions, 15 million, and then his bank account has 0.
Because he had terrible habits.
Yep.
But why is it that you don't? Why is it that you think? Why do you think people underestimate that? Like, why do you think people underestimate how much their lives are actually shaped by habits?
I think they don't think about. Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Go right ahead.
I think they don't think about it. I think he just went out and partied. I don't think he thinks about it. I think that's the problem. Like, we don't look at the world that way. We live.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people do. We live. We move moment to moment. Sometimes we think about the future. Sometimes we think about the past. But most people aren't standing in some existential crisis trying to analyze how I've gotten here. So they wouldn't look at it, why I have bad habit. He doesn't see it as a bad habit. He doesn't see it as a recurring. Even how he stated it in that clip, I'll just go make more money. Not I'll change how I live. Maybe later in the clip that we didn't see, but in the part that we saw, it was just I'll go make more money, not fix the problem. Increase the cash flow, which again, not wrong. If you can do that for the rest of your life till you die, sure. But in terms of your question about habit, I think people are more Fat Joe than JP.
Yeah. And I think at some point, I'm just guessing here, but at some point he probably realized that you get older and you get wiser, right? Typically. But he probably realized that going back to that particular well was going to start having diminishing returns because, you take your wife to see an OJ's concert but you're not taking your wife to see Biggie saying I'm fucking you tonight. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not going to a lean back concert in your late 50s. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he probably realized that, and at some point started to do what Gimpy said and started to change the spending habits.
Yeah, and I think this kind of goes into soldiers. You've been in finance for a while, and I think one of the other things that many people believe, right, is that especially when it comes to money, is that it takes a lot of money to have a lot of money, right? And really, it's just a habit of saving. And even Napoleon Hill put it in the book. Is if you just save a little bit, just save a portion of, or percentage of your income, and just start there over time because of compound interest or other things. Just developing that habit of saving leads to great rewards.
In conjunction with moving beyond the siren song of materialism.
Correct.
Okay. Because we've discussed it before on the show. Edward Bernays, the father of modern marketing, he fused psychology with marketing and made you believe that you had to have these things in order to live a fulfilled life. And that message is powerful. Okay.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people pursuing that type of philosophy end up broke. Okay. If we operated differently, the credit market, the consumer credit market wouldn't exist. Okay.
Yep.
It wouldn't, at least it wouldn't be as lucrative. So you have to, and you mentioned it, it's not just saving, you got to go a little bit further than that, and you got to be very purposeful about getting your money working for you.
Well, even before that, right? I mean, because I'm not disagreeing with you on getting money working for you. However, you still need to develop the habit, right? Even a kid that gets used to, a child that is not putting money in the bank, but putting money in their piggy bank every time they get an allowance, right? Just put something aside, whether it's 10% or, you can tell a kid put 90% away, right? You don't have any bills, but it's all about developing that muscle, because as opportunities arise, right, you'll have something to to invest, right? So because there's a lot of times where people, where an opportunity will come your way, but because you don't have any disposable cash or something, something somewhere, you're unable to take advantage of that opportunity because the habit of saving or habit of just doing those things you haven't taken advantage. And the same thing with our bodies, right? If you haven't developed the habit of eating right, or developed a habit of some type of exercising, comes that time where, man, you can't move, you can't get up the steps, you can't jump, like. And then I this is one of my biggest kind of concerns, is like I always just want to be able to carry my family in the event something happens. Right. I want to be able to physically pick up anybody in my family in the event something happens. I want to be able to be out there with my son, throwing the ball, or out there with my daughter playing lacrosse, right? But if I don't have good habits of saving my body, and I can't expect to be there for any long period of time, right? So it's just when those opportunities comes, you can't take advantage of them. But yeah, so let's move on, guys, because I want to discuss a little bit more about. Of course, we've been doing this law of success, and we've been actively applying the book. So Gimpy, like what are some things maybe you noticed this week? So maybe what are some of the negative habits that you've noticed this week?
Oh, I don't. There are ways I manage my money that definitely need to improve, that this book reminded me poignantly. Like, I don't put enough in my 401k. In terms of saving, I put a minimum instead of a more leveraged position that it'll grow faster and give me better returns the longer, just in general, so that I can use it for debt leverage later. It just, I'm not managing it correctly. I'm being lazy about it. I'm being lazy about organizing debt I have properly. I mean, I'm paying it off or whatever. It's just right now with rates down, I could be more aggressive and refinance it to squeeze pennies out of it, like what you're supposed to do. Honestly, if you're being proper, it's what you're supposed to do. The rates are lower than where my rate of my loan is. I should go back, refinance, take more money out of my house, and squeeze my nut down a month and the month lower while putting cash in my pocket. Again, I'm just being lazy about it. I need to go do it. This week it's motivating me to get off my ass and go do shit like that and take care of the stuff that if you don't take care of it, no one gets mad. It doesn't really negatively impact you, but you're missing the opportunity to turn pennies into dollars and dollars into hundreds and stabilizing things that can be more stable. Yes, for me, that's what it is I'm not like, for as much as I have my Jew sense tingling, I'm not the money guy. Like, I have nephews who are money guys. I have brother-in-law who's a money guy. I'm the creative in my family, even though I'm not that creative. But I'm saying, like, I'm the odd one out when it comes to that shit. And this reminds me, this week, that's what is that I have this bad habit of, if it's stable, it's enough, not doing it what I know is the right thing that I'm sitting here thinking about already. Anyhow, I'm just not doing. And I'm sure Soldiers can attest to many of his clients act like me.
Right on. Well, shout out to Kung Fu CJ with the $2 super chat. Only 20% of humans will act on this knowledge. I mean, what that's Pareto's principle? Is that what that's called? The 80-20 rule?
Yeah.
No, it's called 80% of.
Similar. Go ahead.
But I mean, look, man, appreciate the super chat. But look, I'm here. I just want to inspire one person. I just want to inspire one person to just look in the mirror and say, I want to examine the law of success. I want to see if this applies to my life. And shout out to Yanni. I've seen Yanni. She's sent some messages on Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, make sure you join the Discord. But shout out to Yanni because she's been practicing it, and she's shared some messages where she's starting this, and she's noticed some things in her life, and so shout out to her. And I encourage you to keep going, Yanni. So keep doing your thing. But Soldiers, man, what have you maybe noticed this week? Maybe one habit or something that's working against you?
Well, I am very, very fortunate to be in the company of some very high performance people as a result of running for high office. And I can tell you one thing that they have, you've got to be around people. If you want to learn how to play basketball, you can't play against me, right? If you want to get good, you gotta lose 1,000 times to Michael Jordan. Okay. And so you can get comfortable in certain habits that you have. And a habit that I have that I did not have when I was in the corporate world, working for the man. When I worked for the man, I was out of this house at 6 a.m. every morning and in DC by 7. Okay. I'm working for me for many years. I have gotten up 7:30. But because of my newfound associations, I am getting phone calls from people at 5 o'clock who have been up for an hour. Okay.
Yeah.
And that has told me I need to start getting, and I have been doing this, getting into bed earlier and getting up earlier. Okay. And it's all about time, because I don't care how rich you are, that is the one resource that none of us can recoup. Okay. So you got to make every, and I've known this. I've done videos on this. The fact that if you get the 8 hours in an average lifespan, you sleep away over 20 years of your life. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's a
20 years.
bad.
Wow.
Let's see. Your average lifespan is somewhere in the 70s. So the 8 hours, that's a third of that. Okay. So yeah, over 20 years of sleep if you get the 8 hours regularly. Yeah.
Yo, Tyrone, I got on a train 5:50 every morning in what is it? Oh, fuck, what's the name of that? Not New Carrollton, the other side. The Mark train down
Okay.
Yeah.
by 32. Whatever. I can't remember now, but that's where I went every day for 5 years. How stupid
Okay.
am I? Live on air right now. But I had to get up every day, 5 a.m., roll out, run to get to the train part, right? And since then, every day, 5 a.m., whether I actually get up and motivate, doesn't matter. My eyes open
Mm-hmm.
and I know it's 5 a.m. I don't even have to look at the clock. I know it's 5 a.m. And now all of a sudden, my brain can't tell apart daylight savings time. So it started being 4 a.m.
Well, I
So
shared
now,
it with you guys. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, so like I can relate, man. I'll open my phone at 4 a.m. The AI consultant for my company, he's been sending messages from 11 till 2 a.m. So because he's the
Okay.
night owl. And then the lead developer starts at like 6. The messages start coming in. So I wake up in that like dead space gap. So I can relate to your struggles in the morning, man.
And I shared with you guys a couple of weeks ago. I believe you might remember. I automatically, for some reason, this has been happening for years. I automatically wake up between 3:50 and like 4:10 automatically, and
Man.
I just enjoy the silence, and then I drift off back to sleep. But now I'm like, maybe I need to go ahead and get up. You know.
Is there a world where like night owls are, I mean, is there a world for night owls?
Hey man,
There is.
the best job I ever had was an 11 to 7 shift. Okay. And I love the night. Everything slows down. Okay. You you own the world
Yep.
basically because 90% of people are sleeping. That 11 to 7 plus I made nighttime differential.
Yep. Yeah,
That
that
was
works.
beautiful,
That
man.
helps. I hope you saved it.
Oh, no doubt. I didn't live off of a dime of that.
I
Nope.
hope
I
you saved
saved
it.
it all. Yep.
Yeah.
Did you see Mark Anderson on Rogan or whatever? AI has created this whole thing called the vampire engineer or the engineer vampire or whatever, where these guys who are 20 times more productive, they don't ever want to sleep now. So they're up all night using tools to code, to do all this shit all the time, to run their agents and their pipelines.
Hmm.
I mean, the the age of no sleep is returning. For a while here, it's been that, society wants you to sleep, get your 8 hours, feel good. But I remember when I first got into IT, no one slept. Everybody worked all day, every day.
Hmm.
And now it's coming back. The AI is going to make us all work all the time. So I think the new world will have a place for the people who thrive while everyone's sleeping, because thanks to the tools we have now that you can be man in the loop for, you can get it. People will go to bed and they'll wake up and you rewrote NORAD. So
Right.
I'm just saying, like,
Yana brings up a point. Says you might die sooner if you constantly get less sleep than necessary for optimal health. I did a video on this. I was doing a video. I am doing a video series about all of these modern myths that 3 square meals a day, food pyramid, 8 hours of sleep. That actually is a vestige of the Industrial Revolution, and the assembly line and electricity, to be specific. Before that, humans didn't get 8 straight hours of sleep. They
Yeah.
got like this dual sleep period where humans would actually wake up in the middle of the night and be active for a couple of hours and then go back to sleep until sunrise. But the 8 hour thing, that is a creation of that there is no that did not originate out of a health um, and welfare kind of mindset or
Yeah.
procedure. That
What,
came from the assembly line and the Industrial Revolution.
So the but
let me just say this real quick. It was called 888. You get 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work, and like 8 hours of recreation. They named it. Yeah.
so the but that was, you know, because we also have to consider
By the way, I
like
can
geography,
testify.
right? Like geography, right? Because certain places in the world, right, the sun, like for example, if you go to one of the poles, right, during the winter, it's dark like 24 hours, and summer it's light 24 hours. But you know, in the general, you know, the rest of the latitudes and longitudes, whatever, we have some nights. So was there a pattern where people mostly slept at night, you know, and then adjusted that with the seasons, or like how does that generally work?
Yeah, it generally was dependent on sunset, because think about it. We really don't have a good concept of this now, but before electricity, my wife was like, "What the hell's wrong with our front door camera? It's totally black." And I'm like, "I'll take a look at it." When I did, I'm like, "What the hell's going on?" And then I turned on the exterior front lights, and there was nothing wrong with the camera. It was just night.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's no street lighting where I live.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was just night.
Yeah.
So prior to electricity, there wasn't much you could do. And it's interesting because you can even look at like leaps in human intellect and engineering. A lot of it took place after the invention of the incandescent light bulb, because humans were able to read longer into the evening. Around the equator, a lot of those cultures observe a siesta, or a midday sleeping period, to kind of shut the body down while it's hotter. So there have been all of these different types of sleep patterns dependent on, as you said, geography and environment.
Yeah. All right, guys, we were talking about the law of habit. We're just the guys. Make sure you hit that like button, share and subscribe. And if you're in the chat, share what habit you've noticed that is, you know, maybe quietly hurting you. Now this week, man, you know, and we've talked about it on the show. Matter of fact, I kicked CT off of the show after he was we're talking about it, but I do have that habit of I think it's changed over time, but I do have a habit of being a little bit too nice. And you know, sometimes it does put me in some you know, questionable situations. And I really, you know, observed that this week. And this is why, guys, every crew needs a Gimpy. And if there's any reason to get your mastermind group together, you have to get your mastermind group together, because you need people around you that tell you the truth, that are honest with you, but not only tell you the truth, but help you devise a path forward. But you know, just being nice has put me in you know, just some compromising positions. And the big thing about that, I give a lot of things away for free. And what that showed me is that sometimes, and this goes back to our conversation last week, where about the fear of criticism for me, you know, I devalue myself, right? And I have a habit of doing that, and that, you know, has led to and played into that fear of criticism. So, you know, so that was just an observation that you know, just kind of really just hit me this week. I just give everything away for free. I give a lot of information. I give a lot of my time. I give a lot of, you know, so, and I it's not just words. I do stuff for people for free. And you know, every crew needs a Gimpy. You can figure out the rhyme yourself, but Gimpy has been Gimpy has been in my ear this whole week. He cussed me out at least 3 times. At least 3 times. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you in your head so much? Like, why are you? And again, it goes back to that fear of criticism. But guys, I appreciate, I just honestly appreciate that just to having people around you that you can express some concerns with, some details with that really challenge you, because part of the fear of criticism is not opening up, right, or not sharing everything, right, or not telling the entire. You tell the truth, but you don't tell the entire truth, right? And that's, again, just having that around is very powerful. Shout out to Kung Fu CJ with the $2 super chat. Proverbs 10 and 12. Read it. So what does Proverbs 10 and 12 say? You want to read it? Kung Fu, you gotta tell me, man. You can't. We're all working right now, buddy. All right. But guys, what habit this week did you discover that was helping you? What's one habit that's, hey man, I got to keep doing that?
I can't say that I discovered one this week. And remember, guys, I got a few years on you, so
Not
start to make fewer discoveries the further down the track you get. But I will say that one habit that I've been adhering to, and is definitely demonstrating results, is just routine. Okay, adhering to a very productive routine and eliminating distractions is a part of that. Okay. I got this thing, and this might be a bad habit. I want to be responsive to others, like in the process of whatever it is we're doing, right? But in so doing, I can turn around and 45 minutes to an hour has elapsed while I'm, addressing these extraneous issues. So I've been able to really compress that and eliminate a lot of that, and still be extremely effective. And I think it's important, and we might hit this in later weeks, but it is also extremely important, and this is something that I adhere to track your progress, to be able to quantify, because a lot of people are just busy and it doesn't result in anything. You got to be able to quantify the success or failure.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Gimpy, what's something that what's a habit that you've noticed that is making or that's helping you?
That's it, man. Like, I'm sorry, dude, since 2019, and to Tyrone's point, since 2019, I was telling you guys I use the same app. Every phone I had, I carried over. I don't care how shitty it is compared to others, whatever. I use it because all my data is there. And I don't want to lose any of it, because whenever I go, I want to see, this year, that year, what I look like, because after on 7 years now, July, it'll be 7 years. I'm almost at the 7-year anniversary. Wow. I've met benchmarks that I set 7 years ago just this year at 6 years into my working out and stuff. I've had experiences that I would have never had in my lifetime had I never hit the gym. I have understanding now about myself personally, like my own limits and what I'm capable of and how much it takes to break through your limits in order to achieve your goals, from every day making a habit of being in the gym. Now, I'm lucky enough that I have the work-life balance, that the joke at my job is when you got to do staff meetings with me in the morning, you got to put up with my sets and reps, and you've done the mastermind with me, so you know how accurate that is. When I'm in the gym in the morning, I'm in the gym. If you happen to be someone in my professional world that's got to deal with me, I'm that jackass on the treadmill talking to you. Sorry.
Out of breath and everything.
I'm huffing and puffing and heaving and sounding like I'm fucking 3 bitches. I get it. But Not for nothing, man. That's my gym time, and everyone knows it, and that's my habit. So when it's gym time, it's gym time. I'm sorry, like it. I'm good enough at my job, and I'm lucky enough, I'm blessed enough that my bosses and the people who work with me, they deal with it. But again, you speak about habit. It's so committed. I've made it an integral part of that. Even my professional life bows to my gym commitment.
Wow. Now, when you started though, did you imagine you get the results that you've gotten, or
no? Like I said, I set a benchmark day one on July 19th, 2019 is my first day in the gym. And on that day, I set a benchmark that I'm going to bench 135. I'm going to be able. I wasn't able to clear that benchmark till year 6, man. I mean, maybe had I done it different, I had bad years. I got hurt. I blew out my shoulder, so I was out of commission for a half a year. I mean, but I didn't consistently bench 135 until this year. And this year alone, I squat and deadlift almost double my body weight. I bench my body weight now. And it was only through consistency, because it took me forever to get to that benchmark. But once I hit it, I had this, all of a sudden, I was able to grow at leaps and bounds.
So what kept you from breaking the habit despite some of the challenges? I mean, because you're talking about 6 years to hit your goal. What kept you going?
It wasn't my only goal. I'm saying, like, I have goals along the way. It's not like I waited 6 years to hit any goals, but dude, you feel it. I mean, you're in the gym now regularly. If you miss a few days in the gym, life is over.
Yeah, but it's easy to sink back into the old habit, right? Because anytime there is a habit,
I know that life is not over. Dude, I'm sorry. Yeah. Like, yes, I had 6 months last year where I couldn't, like, from it being my arm, like the end of my shoulder rehabilitation in the beginning of the year, me getting sick when I went overseas and coming back really sick. So I was out of commission for 4 months or whatever, basically, that I couldn't lift in any consistent way. I understand that. But once you do it, once you've committed to the habit, once you're doing it over and over, when you stop doing it, you can't lie. You can lie to everyone else. You can't lie to yourself. Like, I don't buy into that bullshit, man. We are aware. And Tyrone, tell me if you disagree, but once you have acknowledged that X needs to be X, right? And you stop doing X, the only person you're lying to yourself is yourself. Right?
I agree.
Right? Like, you're not kidding. You know, I'm supposed to be X. Whatever that is. For me, it was the gym with this. For you, it's not being in your head so much. For Tyrone, it's, you know, making sure that when he's a politician, he doesn't turn into a swamp creature. Whatever, you know? Everybody got their goal and shit, but I'm sorry. Once you know, you know. And then you can't turn it off. You can only just lie to everybody about you not knowing.
Yeah. No, you're right, guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button, share, and subscribe. I'll say, man, I have made a habit of reading my chief aim every morning, every night. And every time I read it, there we go. Gimpy has his on his sticky note. That means it's on his desk, and Gimpy's at his computer pretty much almost 24/7.
24 hours a day, man. The gym is right, like, folks here. Look.
Yeah, that's his gym. His gym is
squat rack. I got the Bowflex back there. We got the stationary bike for cardio.
Yep.
Very cool.
So Gimpy is in the gym and at work. And his chief aim is right there on his desk. And like I said, I've been reading mine because I honestly I wasn't big on the affirmations thing. Again, you know, being Christian, I'm like, you know, why do I need to say this over and over again? But part of this journey, I'm saying, I'm gonna just follow the process in the book, and we're really examining if this law of success thing really works. And you know, I want to make sure I keep the main thing. You know, I'm a Christian, so Christ is always first. But at the same time, you know, you have to renew your mind daily. And what I've found is that reading this on a regular basis allows me to, one, renew my focus for the day, but also just kind of it gets me excited. Just understanding what my chief aim is, and the group that we have around us that's helping us, and things are really, really moving. So I have noticed that the habit of looking at that every day has made significant changes. And it leads to more creativity. It leads to better focus. It leads to, just go back to the mastermind principle. You start getting ideas on how to move in the world. You just start seeing things differently because you're focused on it. And there's one thing, I've been in sales for a long time. And one of the things at sales trainer, I've learned from a sales trainer before, is that whatever you focus on grows. Right. So, keeping that focus on the things that you're trying to accomplish, it works. But guys, I want you guys to share your experiences in the chat. What habits, have you noticed that are working, for you, and what habits that are maybe working against you? Now, one of the other, we talked about this, I think week 2 was having a chief aim, right? And in exploring this chapter, I was, because anyone can have good habits, right? But is it possible to have good habits without a plan?
Sure.
Right. And
you get up and you brush your teeth.
Yeah, go ahead.
You get up and brush your teeth every morning. There's no real plan associated with that. It's just a routine.
No, actually, I have a huge plan involved in that. It's that I don't spread my morning breath to unsuspecting innocent bystanders. But
you know what I'm saying? Like,
just throwing that out there to the world.
Because one of the things that I was observing about, and we talked about this a little bit before, was like, I feel like I've never had a plan in life. But at the same time, there were just elements of good habits that I would maintain. You know what I mean? Like, I try to the golden rule, for example: treat others how you want to be treated. Always operate with integrity. Don't tell lies, whatever. And I felt like, there are elements that I would operate in that manner. So those are good habits. But I didn't have a plan on where I wanted to be. Right. So, I guess, what role do habits? Well, I guess I'm really asking, like, what, do you have to have, or what role do habits play even without a plan?
They're tools. Like, again, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I'm listening. Go ahead.
They're tools. Like I said earlier, habits are a tool for you to accomplish your goals. They're either tools to hinder you by having bad habits, or they help you. They elevate you by having good habits. The habit itself is just a tool. It's like saying, look, it's the same argument with a gun, dude. Right? A gun is a tool in the hands of a person who uses it properly. It's a policeman. It's a soldier saving lives, defending freedom. In the hands of a lunatic, it's a loaded weapon that takes lives and destroys things. So habit is the same thing. You don't need a plan. Habit is like having a hammer. A hammer will always hammer nails. You don't have to have a fence to build, right? Like, it's still going to hammer for you. You don't have to. You see a loose nail in your house, you don't have to have this great plan. You walk up to it with a hammer and you clot, right? So you have a simple problem in your life. You gained weight. You think you're ugly. Go to the gym. You work out. You have bad money problem. You find a financial consultant. You use, I don't know, software or something that helps you take your budget. A million different things. But again, that habit is just a tool. Tools are neutral. It's the intent of the user that matters. So a plan wouldn't apply. Like, you don't plan around the tool. A tool helps you accomplish the plan. You can have tons of tools and have no plan.
So is it possible to achieve, let's just say success, and putting it in quotes, but is it possible to achieve success even if you don't have a chief aim, as in chapter 2, but have good habits?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you're dumb lucky.
Right.
But is that
Like,
luck? If you have
Kamala
good
Harris,
habits,
if you're Kamala Harris, you can achieve that. You can fail upwards so badly to become vice president of the United States of America. And I would say that that's not having a plan and achieving success.
Right. But it proved unsustainable also.
Yeah. Again, it's
well,
dumb luck.
I don't believe Kamala had good habits. I mean, she had some habits of doing certain things that
Again,
may.
are tools. I don't care if they're good or bad in this. You asked, is it possible to do it without a plan? She just wandered around life sucking dick. So, I mean, that's not really a plan.
I think she did have a chief aim, though, right?
Because your
Yeah, she
monetization.
sucked as much dick as she could for Willie Brown. I mean, hey, come on, dude, what are you talking about?
Hope you weren't planning on any purchases with this week's monetization.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, dude, what was her chief aim? To get sloshed before 10 in the morning and get on camera so the whole world could witness it?
Well,
Like,
in all seriousness,
what her chief aim was.
In all seriousness, she did have habits. She had habits. She had learned behaviors around,
Good.
Climbing the ladder, using, let's just say, relationships. Okay. And it really wasn't of any type of substance. She got caught up in that whole LA crap, okay, where it's about how you look and all that jazz. But again, you can go out here and you can have habits, but is it sustainable? Is the success that you can go out here and hit lottery tomorrow, but because of bad habits, a lot of them end up broke.
But let's say hypothetically a person had good habits, right? And let's look at the just average Joe, right? Let's say they saved a portion of their income. They actively, just walked 10,000 steps a day, whatever. Whatever religious activities they did, they abided by them. But they didn't have a plan. They just were doing those things. Go ahead, Giffy.
Now, I might get yelled at by Tyrone because I'm terrible with math when it comes down to it, because I never get the things right in my head. But I think I have this one right without looking it up before I put my foot in my mouth. What's the difference between velocity and vector?
Are you asking me?
No, logic.
Well,
I know you probably.
Well, velocity.
Direction.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Direction, right?
Yeah.
And you add direction to velocity, it becomes a vector, right? So if good habits are velocity, you still need a direction to make it a vector, to put it somewhere. Velocity with no direction is just energy being expended. So yeah, you have all these habits, they're good, even in positive. So you're putting yourself in opportunity, but you're not capitalizing on all the opportunity that comes by. So you don't have direction, so you have no vector, so you can't make the net. Yeah, so you're staying ahead of failing from credit card debt or bad spending habits, but that's just breaking even in terms of what you can accomplish according to what having a plan would do for you. So in the terms of success, sure, if you want to define your success at the barest minimum of getting by, that you don't have to worry about the negative more than others, sure. But no, again, like Tyrone said, it's not sustainable. If you want true success where your success is growing and trying to reach that exponential growth point, you have to have direction. You need vector, right?
Yeah.
You have to have a plan.
Yeah. Would you agree with that, soldiers, or push back?
I would. No, okay. I would agree with that. Because again, first of all, if you don't have a plan, can you really recognize success? We were talking about this a few minutes ago, in terms of quantifying things, So how do you know what success looks like if you don't have some sort of plan? Yeah.
All right, guys, I want to give you guys yeah, somewhere to start, right? Yeah, and those watching again, our goal here is to inspire. We are classic men changing the world, and we want to inspire people, to take action, right? Because
Mhm.
it's one thing to talk about these things, and we're applying these principles in real life in real time right now. But I want to encourage you guys to do the same thing. So this week, you know, I want you to do. Hold on, let me pull it up here. Share this tab. Um, this week, I want you to do these three things. One is track one habit. And we're going to give you some ways to do that here in just a second. But I want you to track one habit, right? Whether it's going to the gym, your diet, what you're eating, what you're spending. One that's a real good one is to track what you're spending. A lot of people have no clue, have no clue what they're spending. At the end of the month, where did all my money go? Where at the end of the week, where did all my money go? Two is begin saving, right? I want you to start saving, even if you have to save it under your pillow. I want you to develop the muscle. But there's tools out there. I mean, there's things out there, and I'm gonna actually go over compound interest here in a minute. But I want you just to start with the muscle, right? You start with the habit. Just with the idea, every time I get a check, I'm going to set X amount aside. We're so quick to pay the electric bill, everybody else bills, but never pay ourselves for the hard work that we do. And we got to start there. So one, begin saving. And three, I want you to join the Discord. The Discord link is in the comments, or in the description section below this video. Because I want you guys to share your journey with us. I want to, we are on this journey together. And just comment success when you join the Just the Guys channel on Discord. But those are things that I want you to begin this week. So especially when it comes to tracking your money, Soldiers, you did a really fantastic video on your channel with the Rocket Money app, right? And I think that's one way to really begin analyzing what's being spent from not just your checking account, but from all your accounts, whether you have a checking account, credit card, what's going into your savings accounts, investment accounts, things like that. But when you were checking out that app, that Rocket Money app, and if you haven't seen that video on Soldiers of Finance, make sure you check out his review of the Rocket Money app. I think it's actually still the most popular video on your channel.
It is.
So what did you discover when it came to tracking and the features of the Rocket Money app?
Well, a couple of good things that it has is the ability to identify all of these subscriptions that you've accumulated over the years.
Yep.
Many of which, a lot of people lose track of that. I'm guilty of that. Okay. With a couple of streaming services, and it will identify all of those and say, hey, do you still want this? Okay. Another decent one was the fact that they will go in and to an extent negotiate discounts. Okay. I used to, when I had cable, this was many, many years ago, I would call cable every 3 months and threaten to cancel.
Yep.
And they would switch you to the retention department where there was always a deal. Okay. And look, I was serious about canceling, and one day I did. Now, I haven't had cable in 20 years now. But those are two very good features of Rocket Money. So as Logic said, watch the video. And I agree with 99.9% of what Logic said, but I would go further. Do not put your money under your pillow or under your mattress, because you will be losing money then, because then it is subject to a full frontal assault from inflation. Okay. $1 under your pillow last year is going to spend like about 95 cents this year. So you got to keep your money in play. It has got to be in a position where that habit says, okay, now I need to open up an online brokerage and I need to do my research. And the beauty of it is there used to be a time where you had to invest in stocks in quantities of round lots. It was called a round lot. And that meant at least 100. Okay. And then it wasn't you got 100. Now you can do 125. No, the next step is 200. Okay. And so it was prohibitively expensive for most people. Today, these online brokerages, you can invest in a fraction of a share. If you have $5, you can invest in Coca-Cola. I am not recommending Coca-Cola. I'm just giving you an example.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yep.
That is super powerful. So keep your money in play.
Yeah. And listen, man, I'm not disagreeing with you on
I know.
but my goal, because a lot of people, we just gotta get started. Right. I'm encouraging people to get started. Right. Because I'm a big believer, I don't think you should put your money in the mattress. I just think you should develop a habit. And that's what in context of the conversation,
right.
I want people to develop the habit of, look, man, if you got $1, set aside 10 cents.
Right.
If you have, and start where you are. Don't, just like Fat Joe in the clip we played earlier, this dude had 10 million and saved nothing. Right. Had 5 million, saved nothing. Right. And a lot of people have in this mind, because a lot of people do fear that have that fear of poverty, that, it takes a lot of money to have money. No, it takes, and you see people with a lot of money that don't have anything.
Right.
So it's not the a lot of money part that gets you to have a lot of money. It's good habits that allows you to have a lot of money. And wherever you are, just start there. And there's a lot of examples in this chapter on Law of Success. I encourage you, if you haven't read it, chapter 4, Law of Success, definitely read that chapter, because there's one gentleman that shared his story about how he was, had millions and went to zero, and most of it comes from things like entertaining, or the money just goes away from cigarettes or movies, or trying to keep up with the person next door. You mentioned it earlier, and you don't have to do all that. Right. And again, this is why I'm trying to encourage people to let's relook at these things, because that's what brings upon success. That's what brings upon wealth in whatever sense that it may bring. Now, one more question for you. I don't know where Gimpy is, but do people that have the habit of saving, are they afforded more opportunities because of that? Or why not does that happen?
I'm not nitpicking here, but I want to be very purposeful about the way we phrase things. So I would encourage us to say invest, because savings is a specific financial process. Savings is literally, you can put your money in a savings account and it is going to lose money, because the interest rates on savings accounts do not match, let alone beat inflation. Okay. People who are very mindful about making sure their money is working harder than inflation is growing, those people, yes, they win. And I'll give you a specific example from Baltimore. I would encourage everybody to look up the name Earl Crawley. Okay. Earl Crawley was a parking lot attendant. This guy never made more in his life than $15 an hour. Yet, because of disciplined investing habits, self-educated in terms of his self-education, he was a parking attendant for a parking lot for several banks. And he would talk to bankers, and he learned how to interpret the stock market. Back when, people don't remember this, but this is when I learned to read stock tables, they were in the newspapers.
Yep.
They worked by fractions, not decimals like they do now. Okay. It's much easier now. But this guy, Earl Crawley, was able to pay off a home and send 2 kids to college. And this man never went to college. He wasn't on Wall Street. He was working in a parking lot. So those habits, they came to life in that guy. And he changed a lot of lives. He even got to the point where he would gift people shares of different companies to get them started.
Yeah.
This guy lived a comfortable life based on these disciplined habits
Yep.
that he developed.
Now, if you haven't taken advantage of it, if you got, kids born after 2025, those Trump accounts,
right?
With that seed money, take advantage. Take advantage. Shout out to Yanni with the $10 super chat. I just finished chapter 12 of Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill stresses the importance of transmuting energy into good habits and productivity. I pride myself in the good habits I'm able to sustain. And shout out to you, Yanni. Yeah, let's keep it going. Because it's so important, right? It's so important. Because like the saying, every one of us have habits, but a lot of times it's either working for us or working against us, right? And like when you have a habit, right? Let's say it's a bad habit. If you stop that habit, you have to replace it with something, right? You can't just say, no, I'm not doing that anymore, right? You have to replace it with something, replace it with a new habit, because it's easy to go back into, your old ways unless you're consciously, paying attention to it. So just, you guys, just make sure, we're on this journey with you. So make sure, you replace your good habit, replace those bad habits with good habits. But I want you all to track one this week. So what was the question I asked you, soldiers? I didn't have it written down. No, I do. I got it. Sorry. Gimpy. Do good savings habits, do people with good savings habits or just good habits in general tend to get better opportunities? And how have you seen that play out? Yes or no?
Yes. How have I seen that play out? Life. No, but seriously, people with bad habit. I mean, again, the luck factor is a separate entity, because someone's always going to say, oh, I know this guy is terrible, whatever he did. There's always the outlier. But in general, to create opportunity, you need good habits, right? Like to create good health opportunities, right? Like, okay, so let's say you're like 20-year-old dude. You're sort of average looking. You're sort of soft around the middle. You're not necessarily fat or ugly per se, but you're nothing to write home about, right? The habit of going to the gym will net you all sorts of results, mostly body dysmorphia, where you still think you're ugly as you were day one, but everyone else will think that you're better looking. They will, by design, by default. It's like wired into the universe. When you go to the gym, like, and again, because that's my ultra good habit, because I'm a regular gym goer, so I can speak firsthand to know, seeing the difference from being just a skinny, like a super, like people, I was like 130 pounds as a full ass grown 5'11" adult. Like that's like concentration camp skinny, buddy. And like, I didn't think anything was wrong. And then one day I start going, right? Like you watch all this anime, you have all this stuff going, and you just like, yeah, okay, I could sit on my ass all day and not get the message or the memo. And then one day you like realizing I'm going to be 40 next year and holy shit, right? Like quit smoking cigarettes, stop bad habits like soda and other things. I mean, I have a ton more bad habits, let's not lie. But again, I cleaned up like a bunch of my bad habits, like especially really bad ones I had. And I start hitting the gym. It's almost 7 years later, just the other day in going through Gerspecs right by me, right? Not that not that anyone was trying to pick me up or whatever, but you can see the amount of women that notice me because I walk straight up, I stand straighter, I
You're more
carry
confident.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, because I go to the
Yep.
like I feel it because I have this habit that empowers me. You understand? You're in the gym long enough. You can tell who lifts, who doesn't, who exercises, who doesn't. You can see it in how their muscles move on their body. If they even have muscles to look at to move on their body, right? Like,
I'm not in the gym at all, bro.
Yeah, okay, buddy. Sure you can. Yeah, okay.
Did you see
dropped
the
all that
thumbnail?
weight and gave it to Reason, man. Don't lie. Nah, he's down a bunch of weight too. To be fair, he's working hard also. I'm just busting his chops because he's not here. But
Here it
the
is.
reality of it is that I go every and that's CT at your 40th, man.
He said I gave the weight to Reason.
Yeah. But it's not true. Reason's down weight. He was telling us the other day. I'm just giving him a hard time because he doesn't gym enough. But when you go and you lift, it pays a dividend and you see it in your life. And every other person who lifts will tell you they see it too. People look at you different when you can carry yourself like that, man.
Yeah. So, but what would you say to
when you know you can carry a human out of a fire, for example, because you were a firefighter and Coast Guard and stuff. Like, dude, when you can do that shit, physically do it, and know you're capable of it, you feel differently about the world you walk through.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But what would you say to those people though that they're like, man, I hear you. I hear this, this habit thing. Maybe I've had bad habits in life. But it's hard to get started. What would you say to those people to encourage them to just take that first step? Soldiers, go ahead.
Man, I hate to sound, clichéic or commercial, but you just have to do it. You just have to get up. And it has a lot to do with whether or not you really want to change your circumstances. And maybe you need to really think about what your motivations are surrounding that. And maybe it's family, for example. Okay, you want to live a healthier lifestyle because you want to be around for your family. Okay. Logic, you said that basically when the aliens attack, you want to be able to pick up each member of your family and run. I don't know where you're going, but you want to run. Okay, so there's logic. Wow, he's got them all. And there are more aliens over there, Logic. But
hey, I can get
there. He's making it easier. Now he's got 5 in one tractor beam.
At least there was no separation of the families, right?
But that's a worthy goal. That's a worthy goal to be looking out for your family.
Yeah.
So if that's your motivation, then it transcends. Usually, a lot of goals transcend you, and they have to do with someone else. And I will be. Look, Gimpy, you just brought it up. When I was in the fire department, man, I my top bench press was 305. People say 305. Yes, there's a 2.5 pound plate. But I showed you that picture with me and Ben Carson, right?
Yep.
Where I'm shaking his hand.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I was like, he's over there type. I couldn't point straight out, right?
Yeah.
And my wife was like, when I showed her the picture of me and Ben Carson, I thought she was gonna be impressed. And all she had to say was, "Where's your neck?" And I just started doing calisthenics ever since. Okay. But seriously, my motivation behind that was because everything in the fire department is heavy. Okay. There's this thing called a HUMAT. You'll see it if you ride behind a fire engine. You got to take that, run with it. It's like 40 pounds. Okay. In order to do that job the way it needs to be done, so that when somebody picks up the phone and says help, you're actually able to do that, then you better be in good condition. And so my motivation transcended myself.
Yep. Yep. So that's huge, man. Yeah. So, yeah, just remembering the why, right? Or, you know, when you're starting to develop this habit, and everybody out there has a why. Everybody has something that they want to achieve, whether it's a financial goal, fitness goal, spiritual goal, relationship goal. Um, and you know, we have to understand the habits that we have today got us into the circumstances that we're in today in order to you know, recover from them or develop a success situation. There are habits that have to change. But Gimpy, man, what would you say? What would you do? What would you encourage someone, you know, that's saying, hey, man, you know, you're telling me to start these habits, like, but it's uncomfortable, or what would you say to encourage people?
The less elegant version of Tyrone. Stop being a bitch.
There you go.
Sorry, it's everything Tyrone said encapsulated in the meanest possible delivery.
Yeah.
I like, dude, that's the only thing that works. I'm sorry. I love all you guys, but normal people, the guy you're talking about, right? Like in that example, oh, I have a lot. How do I get started? That motherfucker, stop being a fat motherfucker and hit the goddamn treadmill, mother. That's what you say to that guy. Because that guy, if he's asking you that question, he's not responding to, well, if you have the caloric deficit by going on the tread, right? Like, no. Or if you save money properly, you won't be behind everyone, right? None of that's going to work because he's still asking you after he knows all that. So only thing left to work is stop being a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. And the great thing about habits, right? You know, you start here and that those habits start to compound, right? And you know, just like Gimpy, you said, you know, when you're not there, you feel the day off, right? When you're early in that habit, you take a day off, you're likely to go back to your old habit. But if you've been in this, you know, this realm, you've developed a good habit, whether it's a savings, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's your diet. Like right now, like if I eat, if I eat something like crazy, I can feel it. Right. If I eat sugar, it goes straight. I feel it right there in the sides of my stomach. Like I can't. But that's from the habit of healthier eating. Right. Mm-hmm. Same thing with saving. If you're you know, you develop that habit of saving money. Right. When you're not, it feels wrong. Like it just feels. I mean, it just feels wrong. Like that's what I'm just saying that. But you know,
dude,
so
sorry, I have a friend. He has a gym routine. He sells on to begin, not sells because he doesn't actually sell it, but he gives to beginners at the gym to learn how to. But he tells them the only way he'll help them for free is if for 90 days you don't complain. You just do the program for 90 days.
Yeah.
Because you have to build the habit before you can criticize it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So right. I mean, like
people are so quick to complain about the habit, right? Because you know, one thing is, oh, I'm not seeing results.
Yeah, that, and you know, we want instant gratification in this modern Western society. And then the other thing is the stakes oftentimes we don't view them as high enough. So if you look at earlier iterations of man, you were getting out hunting the woolly mammoth on a regular basis, whether you wanted to or not, because if you didn't, it was about survival, right? That I think is a bigger motivator than health, you know, doing these things to maintain good health, right?
Yeah.
So if you can, and when it comes to finances, I mean, that is a form of survival in modern society, right? So instead of going out on a great plane and hunting the woolly mammoth, all right, we're doing a version of that still says if you're not successful at bringing home the bacon, then your life is not going to be pleasant at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it because you know, like I said, you know, I had no problem waking up early in the morning to go work for the man. Okay, because I knew that, you know, if I didn't take that seriously, then the man would separate me from the paycheck. You know.
Yep, absolutely. So one last thing I want to leave you guys with, especially when it comes to the habit of saving. Now, what's interesting that, you know, about this conversation today, a lot of us didn't talk about money when it came to, like, you know, kind of as our core habit type thing. But one of the biggest kind of indicators, and in the book, it does talk about, you know, the habit of saving. You know, Tyrone, you talk about investing. It did mention investing in Law of Success, but just the rhythm of putting things aside. And in the context of this episode, you know, I'm saying that with everything, you know, saving your body, saving your relationships, saving, you know, in your spiritual life, because it transcends. But if one tangible way or one area that you can really say this is applying is with money. But I want to leave this kind of as an educational piece when it comes to saving and building the habit of compounding, especially when it talks about interest, because this is what happens in every area. But this is the rule of 72. And this is why, you know, saving outside of, saving outside of your pillow is very important. But yeah, so I'm gonna play this, and because I want to share this with you guys.
Estimating the future value of an investment can require some thorny algebra equations. However, the rule of 72 offers an easy shortcut to approximate the effect of compound interest. Here's how it works. Just divide the number 72 by the expected growth rate of an investment. The resulting figure represents the number of years it will take your money to double. For example, if Aaron puts $5,000 in a blue chip stock with an annual return of 2%, his investment will grow to $10,000 in roughly 36 years. The formula can also help illustrate the effect of inflation and expenses. For example, if Aaron expects the long-term rate of inflation to be 3%, any savings he doesn't invest will lose half its value in 24 years. The rule of 72 is most useful for providing a quick, general idea of how compound rates affect money.
So the thing is, guys, this compound interest is especially when it comes to debt and savings, is used either for you or against you. And I think this is one of the clearest examples of the law of success, or the law of habit working for you. For example, if you think about the average interest rate on a credit card, you know, you're talking about 16, 24, 29%, you know, interest rates, right? And, you know, that means the bank, right, well, your minimum payments, it takes, you know, if it's 16, what, that's 4? No, 5. Yeah, 5. No, 6. 16 times 6 is 72, right? Let me see. What is my calculator? You got a calculator?
72.
72 divided by 16%. I did time. 72 divided by 16. Yeah, 4.5. So if you have 16% interest on a credit card, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that balance is, let's say it's a $2,000 balance. If you're paying the minimum payments, you're not going to pay it off in 4 years, and you've doubled the amount you borrowed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we talk about the habit of saving versus the habit of debt, right? But the same law can be used for you, because there's investments out there that get you way better than 2, 3, 4%. You know, if you look at the markets averaging, you know, over the past 30, 40, 50 years, you can do better than 10%, right? And 10 into 72 is 7.2. So instead of giving the bank your money, why not you put the money in for yourself, right? But the principle is the compounding works the same in every other element of your life, right? We develop good habits in saving. You develop good habits in, you know, relationships. You develop good habits in your exercise and diet. That compounds, right? It's inevitable, and over time, the capacity of that increases, right? So thoughts on that, guys? I just because again, I want to leave people with something and give people encouragement to just start.
Yeah. Like getting your debt under control, for example.
Yep.
That what you just said is very powerful to demonstrate to people how it can actually get out of control based on that interest rate. Okay. And also, this can help people if they really internalize this. When you buy something on credit, for example, be careful what you buy. Now, you go out and buy a house. Okay, fine. When you need a car, okay, I get it. But Louis Vuitton, okay, what ends up happening is you end up increasing the price of whatever it is you purchased if you can't pay it off in that 30-day cycle. And man, the trap has gotten really pernicious because I saw a thing where it said they got this thing where you can actually buy meals from places like McDonald's. Right.
36-month installments, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your dollar Happy Meal is now so expensive, folks. You will need a 36-month payment plan.
They offer payment plans on meals.
Happy Meals. On Happy Meals.
Oh, no, is that real?
No, that is very real. That is
Hold on, what?
real. It's
on McDonald's, you can go and get a payment. You can do pay away on your McDonald's meal.
Hold on, I gotta see this.
Layaway, sorry, not pay away. Layaway on your McDonald's.
Yeah,
no, like layaway was the joint back in the day. Now I because layaway kept you disciplined.
Layaway is because you pay for it and then you get it over time.
Right.
Yes.
Right. But it also was you were subject to me coming in with full price and just paying for it. If there was one in the store.
Layaway, I think layaway also, like if it was $100, if you just bought it, I think layaway would end up being like 110. Something
yeah,
like
but whatever. That works for people with no money. But I'm saying a lot of places layaway turned into you were like you made 10 payments, you had one payment to go, but they had no more left in the store, and some dude just paid for the whole thing and they let him walk away with it, man.
So that's an example of how expensive it is to be poor. But Logic, take a look at apps like Klarna. Okay. That is an app that will allow you to pay for a meal from Taco Bell over time. Buy now, pay later.
Please, guys, please. And this is exactly kind of the premise of the episode, the why the rich get richer and the poor get poor. It's basically because of this, the law of habit, what I'm calling. And it's inevitable, but you can reverse that. And you do have this superpower. Everyone has this superpower within to get out of the trap that they're in. So guys, I want to kind of leave you guys here with this, but make sure this week track one thing. Just track one thing. Hold on, let me pull up my slide. Just track one habit this week. Track one habit. Just one. And be meticulous about it, right? Whether it's your sleep pattern, track what time you're waking up, what time you're going to bed, what you do when track your spending, every single transaction, and go and use something like the Rocket Money app to connect your accounts and see what you're spending this week, whether it's phone subscriptions, McDonald's, if you're using that, if you eat there, just everything out to eat, track. Begin putting some money away. There's plenty of apps, out there, whether it's Robinhood or whatever, Cash App even has ways you can begin saving now. But also, there's a link in the description too for Patterson & Associates Financial Group. You can check us out as well. That's my wife and I's company. Just for tips on investing or whatever. Just begin saving, begin somewhere, and also just join us on Discord. Just to because we're part of this community, we're building this community because again, I want to see you guys win, and I hope to be an encouragement and help for everyone here. All right, guys. Final thoughts, man. Any closing thoughts, man? Tony Gimpy Robbins, man. What you got?
Would you rather be right or effective YouTube?
Good Lord, this man has been. Tony Gippy Robbins has been cussing me out all week long. He's been cussing me out all week long, and he said just that. So I think he did that on purpose to troll me. But every crew needs a Gimpy. I will say that every crew needs a Gimpy.
Oh God, don't curse all these people with someone like me in their life. That's terrible. You're awful, man.
Oh,
Merciless.
I listen, Gimpy. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you, bro. You know, I'm just putting it out there. But yeah, we're going big places, bro. We're going to be at the top, bro. But Soldiers of Finance, man, closing thoughts, man. What you got going on this week? And guys, make sure you go over to Soldiers of Finance. And this is the next lieutenant governor of the great state of Maryland. We are getting close to early voting this week. So, man, what you got going on this week, brother?
Well, more campaigning. I am in Maryland. It's important for folk to realize the governor has to pick a lieutenant governor candidate, unlike places like Virginia and California, where those two positions run independent of one another. So I'm the lieutenant governor candidate for Ed Hale. So this week will include more campaigning. And, or as far as the Soldiers of Finance channel is concerned, Logic has been a great help. We're going to resurrect the channel. Okay.
There we go.
It's gonna rise from the ashes like a phoenix.
Please don't say you're doing true crime. As long as you say you're not doing true crime.
We will not be doing true crime. Okay. But stay tuned for that. We're making some refinements. You know, YouTube it has some parameters that if you get into the successful habits around those parameters,
yep,
we can build this thing. So look out for that.
And I'm excited to see this endeavor grow. And I'm proud of what Soldiers Finance in that channel is doing and getting involved in. So, guys, make sure you stay tuned for what's next, what's coming up on there. All right, guys, that does it for us tonight. Again, this is Just a Guys podcast, classic men changing the world. And guys, hit that like button, share, and subscribe. And remember, only monkeys litter. And we out. Peace.